Welcome to the Geeks 31 Days of Horror for Halloween. This is Alil.
This is Steve.
And this is Sean.
And tonight we're reviewing Evil Dead Rise from 2023. So for those of you who have not been with us before, we will play for you our rating system.
It has a rating system in place that we like to call 0 to 0. If whatever horror movie we're reviewing is terrifying only to the most infantile who get nightmares from PG-13 reboots, it gets a 0. If it's a gorgasm-inducing slaughter party that satiates your most devious and monstrous desires, it gets a hero.
A twisted tale of two estranged sisters whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of a family imaginable. Sure.
That
is what happened?
Not a good description.
That is
because they're talking about these two sisters and they. No, it was her against her.
It was her, and that was about fucking it.
Yeah, basically. So, Evil Dead Rise. Steve, what'd you think?
I fucking loved it so much. It's really good. It's very, very graphic, very gory. I thought the music was great. I thought the special effects were on point. This movie at one point like turns into a weird twisted version of The Thing. That was fucking great. I love the bookend story, the beginning and the end, how they kind of come together. I thought that was really neat. You know, the villain of the movie, this little kid, Dan, fucking kid. He had a nice DJ setup. But
the villain of the movie is this.
It is his fault, 100%. His fault.
Tell me.
He snuck down into the hole. He stole the shit. He started playing it. He opened the book over and over again. He dripped the blood on it. He put the records on. He's the villain of the movie.
Oh yeah, no.
His mom was just trying to do laundry.
Yeah, he fucked this whole movie up. He fucked the whole movie up.
His mom was just trying to do laundry a little.
Tell me you wouldn't have done the same thing at that age.
I would have been the fucking villain of that movie too then. But I probably wouldn't have gotten in a hole in a parking lot after an earthquake, though. That's wild. Exactly. That boy is reckless.
Yeah.
The way they're throwing those pizzas around, too. Like, you guys have to move. Money's tight.
He need
an ass expensive.
Whipping. He need a real ass whipping. Like, he needs a real ass. Like,
well, he got one here. He got one here. Belt. He got his ass whipped here.
We're just dealing with spoilers and shit. But I had a really, really good time with this. Evil Dead Rise. I think I've yet to see an Evil Dead anything that I have not liked. The Evil Dead series was great. Every single Evil Dead movie has been great in one way or another. Some varying, you know. The Army of Darkness is a wild spin on stuff, but
it's still amazing.
But it's still great. It's still an awesome movie in its own right. And I just think this new Evil Dead Rise, or this new Evil Dead, this one and the one that came out in, what was it, 2010, 2011?
Somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly.
That one was great too. So, like, I'm just really excited for where they want to take this. I like this movie a lot. Hero for me. Sean.
That was a hero for me too. It was great. It was creepy. It was disgusting. It was everything a horror movie should have been. Like, it had every element to it. It was like deaths and like shit. I just didn't even expect. I was just like, it's everybody. Oh, okay. All right, we're taking everybody out. All right, it's cool. All right, I didn't think that those deaths were gonna happen. I was like, oh shit. Okay, well, that's where we going with it. Then cool. And the ending was great. It was fucking great. Really, really good. Enjoy that. I enjoyed all the kills. I enjoyed like even the body gore, fucking scraping shit. Oh my god, that shit fucked me up. I never looked at a cheese grater ever again the same. Never.
So Evil Dead is probably tied for my favorite horror franchise. I love the Evil Dead. I love Ash. It is sad to me that Ash is not in this movie, but this movie's awesome. A hero. This movie is just awesome. It's brutal. It's got this weird twists that you don't normally see in a movie where, it's a very again, we've seen this in horror movies where it's a female centric group, right? Because it's usually that's who it is, but you don't really see the mother children dynamic like done here. And I think that's what I really liked. And that's why when I was showing it to the kids, I'm like, look at this, don't piss off your mom. Because you always see those movies, that's always, stepdad or dad's the killer or this and that. It's different now. And I like that. I like the change. And it had something kind of primeval with that, especially the dynamic between the sisters.
Nobody's safe. That's another.
Yeah, and I love that. So it's a hero for me for sure. Loved everything about it. Watched it a couple times already. It's in the Evil Dead rotation for sure. I like this one way better. And it was 2013, the other one, but I like this one better than that one. Yeah. I did enjoy the last one, but this one I just love the different take on it, especially the like the city building, the apartment building. Wasn't a cabin.
It was great. It was great though. It reminded me of like Poltergeist.
Poltergeist 3. Yeah.
Yes. Let's get into spoilers. Superhero again. Woo.
Spoilers.
So
what an opening.
Yeah. Steve, you talked about it too. Like, this bookend opening is it threw me off because like I'm watching this, and I'm like, oh, I thought this was supposed to be like the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, I thought this was supposed to be in a city.
Well, before we even find out, like we're at a cabin in the woods, we're doing the POV.
Oh yeah, we
of
get
the deadite POV through the woods and all that, and I'm like, all right, and you find out it's a drone. Like some jock assholes playing with. I thought that was a nice little touch. It brings it to present day kind of thing. And then we immediately get a scalping.
Fantastic. That was nuts, right? Like she's going to check on her friend, and all of a sudden, like you see her in bed, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, what? Number one, like boyfriend's messing around.
Kind of reminds me of Cabin Fever.
Yeah. And she's sitting there, and then like I love that part too, where she's reading the book and she's just reciting the book lines. Like right when that would happen, I wouldn't be like,
I'm out.
You okay? I'm walking out the door. Exactly.
Sean, you and the Lil never would have even been in a cabin in the woods to begin with.
Exactly fucking right.
You're right. But you know what? You said weird how that cabin looked too. That cabin was like this giant like A. Like it was like this weird. I don't know the structure. I'm like, where are these? Who's building a cabin like that? It's crazy.
I just recently spent a few days at a cabin in the woods.
It
was nice.
That looked like that. That was like a giant A.
I expect you to be there.
White people are normally safe at the cabins in the woods. We usually have a good track record there.
Do you though? How many movies are happening?
Well, I mean, that's why I always bring a black friend, because if something goes down, they're going to be the ones that go first.
Shit.
Jeez, wow.
Guess where I'm not going with your ass ever.
That's my barometer for how dangerous situations are. I bring Lino with me everywhere.
Does he go camping with you?
No, but he would if I asked him to.
I might have to talk to him. Listen, stop doing this shit.
Yeah.
Don't go with Steve. He's going to sacrifice.
Every few months I challenge him to a race just to make sure I can still run a little faster than him. So it's like I don't have to beat everybody, but I gotta beat you.
Terrible.
You ain't shit.
Terrible. So we get that scene with the scalping, and then we get she's scalped and still gets to the dock, and the boyfriend's like reaction is priceless, and it's crazy what the girl who's possessed does. She just all of a sudden just takes the drone. You would have thought that he would have used it as a weapon. She would have used it a weapon against him right then and there. Nope. Smashes into her own face and like opens up her neck and falls in the water. It was just like a crazy scene. Like, just
when she floats out later, it looks like she just has a couple of cuts on her face, but it was still a pretty brutal, like wham, right into her face. Like, and then the boyfriend jumps in after her, and then you get the shot of the head getting tossed onto the dock. That was great.
Yeah.
Why are you tossing it after? Like
what an amazing opening shot of her floating above the water like some fucking weird witch and an Evil Dead rise in the sky. Like, awesome.
Yep. And then cut to the a building that's going to be torn down soon. I mean, look at this.
You get introduced to the sister first. She's finally.
Oh, that's right. Pregnant. She's at in the bathroom.
Then you go to this amazing bright red apartment building that's like got this really crazy architecture. It's like kind of like shaped like a wedge of cheese, but like really tall, like it just had so much character, this building, and it continues throughout the movie. There's when they're trying to get into the parking garage and that clicker's just being a pain in the ass, like the building itself has a lot of characteristics that I think are really cool. The hallways are really cool. The old timey elevators, like all of it's just a really great horror setting.
Yeah.
It is. The only thing that it is like it felt too empty, right? It's like in those movies.
There weren't a lot of people in the building. There should have been more people.
But they said it was being demolished. By the end of the month,
that.
Like everybody else probably moved.
Parking garage had some more cars in there. That's what I'm
saying.
There
should have been more people to get killed because that would
be a little bit higher body count. Yeah,
agreed.
Well, we do only spend time on this one floor of I believe there was at least 14 floors because they were on the 14th floor, I think. So.
Yeah, but I did like the introduction that you met some of the neighbors. You get these kids there that were trying to, I guess, hook up with the one girl, the one older sister. You have a neighbor, another guy. He wasn't related to those kids, was he? Was he?
No. So you have like the young neighbor, then you have like the older neighbor. Yeah.
So there was
and you find out like the mom her husband just left her, and which crazy because wow. But like
I don't understand that one.
She looks like she's just doing her best. She's a tattoo artist. She's got her kids. They're all kind of, they all seem kind of like today's kids. Activists, they're social justice warriors. The one kid's like pretending to be a DJ. The other kid's like, I'm gonna go save the world, like with a sign in the park.
I like the little girl who was making her own doll with a stick. She just cut that doll's head off. I was like, what?
See, and that's the other thing. I was expecting those scissors to come in.
So was I, Steve.
Later, when the girl's like, I don't have them, and she threw the scissors into the. Did they come back? And I just forgot it because I expected, like, at some point, somebody to reach under the couch.
Did they come back? I don't know.
Yeah, they did. I think they used the scissors as a weapon.
They used a lot of weapons in this thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were used. I mean, a lot of body horror here. So there was things all over the place. People being cut, things that I don't want to say full dismemberment, but a lot of stabby. Pretty sure those scissors were there.
Yeah.
Everything kind of just gets set off with this random earthquake. Like, that's cool. I mean, that's one way to explain how you find the Book of the Dead.
Book of the Dead.
And I thought, like, the whole records playing that were, like, from the priests and all that, like, going over this stuff, I thought that was it was scary as fuck. like, if you were to put yourself, and that's, like, real shit you're hearing, that is terrifying.
First of all, I wouldn't have a record player. Fuck that.
It was just
you're DJ, Sean. DJ Sean is mixing it up.
And the first
it was a DJ. That's right. I'm sorry.
The first real like horror thing we get. We talked about it. Danny, the kid, he steals the book. He plays the records. He does all that. It conjures the deadites, and the mom just gets completely assaulted in this elevator. Like the cables are coming down and stretching her all around. And
I was like, God damn.
They turned her into that picture from the book, the picture of that lady in the book, all twisted up. Like it did that to her. Like, and there was that really awesome shot with all the sparks going off behind her, and it was like slow motion. She's screaming, like haunting stuff.
Twisting her arm back and up, and you're just hearing all the cracking and popping.
Like, God damn. He's like, fuck.
But I loved when the demon's talking through the mom and like has that normal voice, and it's like you get that weird kind of like echoing where it's like two
A
voices.
deeper voice. Yeah, it's like a lower octave.
I can't even do the voice, but yeah, it's
like
so
goes with the thing Ghostbusters. The
Gozer?
she had that voice. Yeah.
This actress who plays the mom just did incredible stuff with the makeup and like just what she was able to do with her face and
yeah.
twisting her arms and stuff around. Like she just really sold that she was insane.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think what like got me what put this movie over for me was not just the mom, like and like the kid thing was like when her daughter turned, when her daughter, that scene with her daughter on the kitchen counter and the fire on the stove and everything going, and just kind of like, because I think that's what took it from like, all right, this is I've been here, we've seen this, to like
first when her daughter first turns, before she catches on fire, she's chasing the little girl and gets the whole stake through her freaking head.
Mouth, yeah, right through just like we're talking about when we were reviewing Scream, like right through the mouth, and then it just pulls the stick right out of her mouth. Like it was awesome. Body horror here, top notch.
But that was also after she did the cheese grater, Sean.
Oh,
where she slapped the cheese grater on the back of that girl's calf and just dragged it down. Like, oh my god!
I was like, holy shit!
That hurt. That's gonna hurt for so long. Like, ooh.
Fuck you.
I think that was the first thing you said to me, Sean, after you saw this movie when it first came out, was the damn cheese grater scene.
Because everyone's afraid of that, and everyone's nicked their finger or their knuckles on one of those sometime. Yeah, you're getting the cheese too close or whatever, or you're doing potatoes for like hash browns, and you just and you're like, oh.
That's why I never do that. Even like with the mandolin, like I nope. The last piece will be a little thicker than everything else. I'm not getting that close.
I just got to get every last little bit.
Nope. Seen too many horror movies. Seen too many people getting cut. Nope. Not gonna do that. So. But then the daughter turns, and then the son is killed, and then he turns, and then they have this whole hallway scene, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean, like when they merge, and like you said, Steve, the Thing, into this giant monstrosity of a monster.
Yeah, they're all like twisted up together and all that. There was that other hallway scene too, where like the mom just attacks everybody else. She like chews one guy's eye out, turns around and spits it into another guy's mouth.
Another guy's throat and fucking chokes and shit. I was like, God damn.
I think
I love the eye scene.
The
eye scene is a Evil Dead. I believe it's Evil Dead 2 scene, because you can see it on the screen. Evil Dead 2. I love it. That's a trope that Raimi loved to use, the eyeball flying. So I love it.
It was kind of like silly in the middle of this relatively serious horror movie, and I just liked it. It was like a nice nod to earlier Evil Dead stuff. So
for sure.
I mean, even made like cartoon sounds, like bloop, like right in his throat, was like plopped.
And I love that. I love it.
Like made a gulp sound. Oh, that was great.
That's that Sam Raimi shit though.
But then like I also like there's so many like things that they set up earlier, like you're in the middle of this city, there's like no trees or parks or anything, it's like the concrete fucking jungle, and underneath this big city high-rise building they have a wood chipper truck just parked very conveniently in the middle of this parking garage. Like I'm like, that someone's going in that. Someone is going in that.
Of course. And then you saw that, you knew that's where we were ending with. And but that was a cool scene too. That was a cool scene when the whole, all the different parts of her were going into the wood chipper, and she was still fighting out of it, and still calling out as a mom, still talking shit to her sister, like getting like deep I thought that was all great. That was all great and just so much blood.
I'd have killed it right
So
from
much blood.
the jump. That shit would there wouldn't have been no wait, blah blah blah. No, bitch, bye. You are done. Get your ass in that wood chipper. Fuck out of here. Some bullshit.
Now,
But
did
then-
you like the fact that she survived?
Who? The
sister.
sister?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's our final
Yeah.
girl. And the little girl, the little girl's a trooper. We didn't want to see her.
Yeah,
die.
yeah, she went whatchamacallit on her? Boom, baby.
I know. I get it. I'm just thinking.
She had a
I'm thinking about
shotgun
how this ended.
and
right?
a chainsaw.
I love that shit. I'm glad they did that shit. That was a straight like boom. Perfect.
Like she literally downward stabbed into the top of the head, the chainsaw. Like,
I wanted to be more fucking deadites. Like I wanted her to fucking take a bunch of them motherfuckers out, dog. Like that's what I
the
wanted.
whole fucking hallway should have been deadites.
Yeah.
Well, they were. They ended up being. They all were screaming at her, "Dead by Dawn," which I love. Again, that's
They were probably all mixed up in that big tumble of people. Like because
Maybe.
that couldn't have just been the mom and those two kids.
Well, that's what it looked
that
like.
mom was like
Remember,
80
they
pounds.
were. Remember that too? They were splitting the mom open and like just like covering in her own gore, like when they were doing that. So I don't know.
I think
Maybe
it was
it was
everybody in the
Parzival.
hallway. Yeah, you just got to see
But-
the faces of the main three.
But then the twist, right? Like the girl from the beginning who was possessed in a deadite is getting in her car, and then sees the wood chipper behind her and like gets out because
There's
she
fucking
sees it
blood
covered in
everywhere.
blood. It's like, what the hell?
Like I love that one part when the wood chipper is getting used and like it's like an interior shot from a car, and the blood starts hitting the windows and it just sounds like rain outside. Like it's just you're like, oh man, that blood is going everywhere.
It felt like being in a car wash.
Yeah. But yeah, so that girl that shoved a fucking drone in her face in the beginning ends up getting possessed
here and
And
going
then-
out to the cabin in the woods.
which then sets up the deadites and all that shit, the Book of the Dead being at that cabin in the woods for further adventures. So maybe this was a prequel to the 2013 movie?
Maybe.
Could have been. We just
Whatever
don't
it
know.
was fucking awesome. And I can't wait for the next Evil Dead entry.
What did you think about the design of the Book of the Dead? With the
Oh,
teeth and shit that kind of
didn't
like.
It didn't bother me.
No, I like that. I thought it was very different. I mean, I do miss the
I
the
do miss that
face.
one too. I agree. Yeah. I was a little like, oh man, really?
But again, if it's a prequel, like I wonder if the book kind of changes a little bit as it's getting used more, taking on its own kind of persona. I like the teeth that kind of nick you, then you bleed
Yeah,
on it,
and
and then
you
it
bleed on
opens. Reminds me
Very
of like a Venus flytrap almost.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Well, there you go. Evil Dead Rise. Definitely check it out. This one is streaming, I believe, on HBO. On Max. Sorry, Max. So definitely check
Get
it
it
out. Yeah, I will. I apologize, Max. This is a Will.
Sure.
And this is Steven. Until tomorrow night, everybody, keep it creepy.